Hey, what's up guys? We're back in Shediac, New Brunswick after a wonderful weekend, or a wonderful week in Scotland for the 2024 Rogue Invitational, the first ever women's Rogue Invitational. And fortunate enough, I was being part of a wicked weekend and we made history. The first ever payout over 100K for a Strongwoman. I think that's just incredible to think that possibly in the future, women can do a career out of this sport, and that's what it's all about. So we're gonna do a quick review on how things went this weekend for me. Good, and I also want to obviously extend my congratulations to the podium, but first and foremost, Inez, you deserve this contest win so much. I've seen you grow as an athlete within the last couple years. Me and her actually won the Amateur Arnold World Championship together back 3 years ago. I was the middleweight and she was the heavyweight champion, and that was my first really contest, and I got to know her a little bit, and I just thought she was like a sweetheart, and she's such a hard worker, and honestly seeing her get the title this weekend was really something that she did truly deserve. And then rounding up the podium was Olga and Lucy, right? Yeah, okay, that's it. So I think that was a really awesome podium, but I think all 10 girls, all of the other 9 women's, it was just so cool to be us again. And I think now it's getting special and special every time we get to compete together. This is the 4th contest that I was able to do with some of the same athletes, and that's cool to see our sports grow. So let's get into the events. Friday morning we had a max deadlift. And everything felt great in the warm-ups. There was a lot of 55-pound plates and then 45-pound plates. So my last warm-up, I was oh, that felt a little heavy, but then actually ended up being 40 pounds heavier. So I was okay, things are moving okay. So my 495 felt really good in the back. And then I went out. We were kind of rushed. There was a flow that we're not kind of used to. And so we got pushed into the field, go sit down, and then right away it was okay, you go up. And I thought I had a break there because other girls were attempting the 525, but I actually only got my 3 minutes, and I think that's a little mistake that happened, but it happens, it's okay. So I got my 505, I got a 3-minute rest, and then 525 I guess just wasn't there. It's very unfortunate because I was aiming for possibly a 3rd bar. I was really confident into getting that 545. But it's not something that I'm gonna, torture myself with. I think it's just a very big learning curve. I did reach out really late to Justin to help me peak for deadlift, and we might not have peaked properly, and I'm really okay with that. There's maybe half a point that I lost there, which I know makes a big difference, but I've got so much strongman left in me that it's going to eventually pay off. I just gotta keep hammering down. So yeah, that was on for deadlift for 1 point there. Event 2 was the farmers to log. Everything felt great in the back. Farmers had no issues at all with my arm. Log a little bit off my chest. I could kind of feel it in my bicep, but it was something that I was I can push through it, and I was really well taped up and stuff. So I thought let's go do at least 1 rep on the log. And then again, I feel me and Pablo were kind of they told us 30 seconds, felt 10, I don't know. It did. Anyways, we kind of rushed off the field, and then I was on my mat when they called us, or when they blew the whistle. Great pickup. I pick up the farmers and I start running, and all of a sudden my rear delt halfway through started burning, and then I felt a drop in my shoulder. So my hand opened, obviously my shoulder dropped, and then on the pickup I felt my bottom bicep kind of let go, and it was just kind of so weird for me. I've never been one to have lingering injuries or anything. It was always instantly, and I just didn't know mentally how I felt with the whole situation. So it was kind of adapt and play with it and all weekend, but it was I was doing mistakes along the way, which was something else that I needed to take care of. So that was event number 2. And again, I dropped so much points there. I think I only got 1 or 2 points. So very disappointed for me there. But then I'm like, okay, let's move on. Stones has been something that was growing really well in the gym, especially like my bag and my tackless stone. So I thought I'm gonna get at least 4, if not 5 stones. Like I was really confident, and then I got 3 really quick. I got the best time out of the first 3 stones. But then on the 4th one, that 275, I just couldn't get that grip that I needed. There comes like when I tuck in and I squeeze in together, it just felt like I couldn't flex my bicep. And I know it's not an excuse, but it was mentally something that I just couldn't get over it. There's actually at one point, if you look at the video, I'm so frustrated, and I just put both arms underneath and I'm trying to like literally bicep curl it, and I was like, just snap off. Like I had that instant of like arm, just go. Like if you're gonna give me a hard time like that, just go. And obviously it didn't, but it was pretty banged up that night. Like there was like a lot of swelling and coloring around the elbow bicep area. So I did a lot of massage that night. They had such a great team there, so I was really well taken care of. And then it was a reset. I'm like, okay, let's reset. We went to bed. I had such a good sleep and woke up, and then we had 3 other events. So I'm thinking there's 30 points left on the table. Go out today and grab as much as you can. So first event on Saturday, we had the power drive. Power drive was something I felt still pretty confident with. I had trained a lot of sled, a lot of arm over arm, and I'm a fast athlete, and I thought I'd be able to respectively get quite a lot of points on there, which turned for of events. Everything was going well, but the sled literally felt like a dump truck. Like it was so heavy. I remember that first pull, I like fell back and I didn't think it would actually move. It just, and on top of that, like my forearm just like gassing out more than I like ever had in training. So I don't know if that's like me lacking in endurance training, or actually my injury is just not helping me, but either or, like those are things that I can now fix, and I'm not gonna dwell on them. But yeah, that one I think I might have taken like 8 or 7. Anyways, I was just having a rough go there. So going into the 5th event, I was like, warm-ups felt great. I felt fresh, like lower body wise, because I felt like I hadn't done shit. So going into the 5th event, the only thing concerning was obviously the power stairs, but it was low weight. I wasn't really worried about it. So yeah, warm-ups were great. We go out, there's 5 of us, which I thought was so cool that Rogue did that. So a 600-pound yoke into 3 power stairs. I like storm off going with that yoke, and the turf caught me. It actually like had me drop the yoke, which I was so upset in the moment. I'm like, okay, move on. But I repicked, finished the yoke, and then ran to the power stairs, and it was a photo finish. I think I won by like 0.04 or something. But I remember going up the stairs with that second bell, and the announcer's like, Peacock and Belleville head to head, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a fight till the end. So I knew that going up on that 3rd stair that I had to go right on that buzzer once I was done. So that's what happened, and I'm very happy I got that event win. I might have not had the show that I really wanted, but having an event win for me, kind of like, it's cool in a sense of like, you know, I can get points, like I do belong. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and there's comments about maybe, you know, girls not being able, or not like, that shouldn't be there, especially that I'm just a 505 pound, or I'm just a 500 pound puller and not a 600 pound. And what is she doing there? But there's other things that I'm very capable of, and I'm very strong. And it's not just about deadlift. Strongman is not just about deadlift, which I know a lot of you would say the opposite, but there's a lot of like agility and strength and speed, and that comes within the sport, and I'm able to showcase those. And I know my weaknesses, so I'm back at it. Like I had a really good deadlift session tonight, so I am working on my weaknesses, but it's cool to be able to pull off event wins that showcases my strength, which is like speed and moving. So I'm real happy with that. And then our last event was the Axle Circus. Honestly gutted, but I was gutted in the moment, but then looking back, I was like, it was at the end of the weekend. Your arms really wasn't feeling all shit hot, but I got 2 first implement really easy, and I thought that was like really cool. It's just very disappointed because I had trained so hard on that axle, especially that last one, that I couldn't even get the first one. Not making excuses, I do think the axle was a little higher than what I was training and a little higher than I expected it to be, which just gives you less leg movements. Like you can less leg drive into the clean. So it was a lot more arms bringing it to my gut, and having that injury and having no gut, it was just like such a whirlwind of event. Anyway, but I think I was by myself on the field for that event, and I had 8,000 fans literally screaming on top of their lungs for me, and I think that was like a moment that was so cool. Like, I know that once I hit that world record back in March, it was like a cool fan movement, but like that too, like that was such a, I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity. So overall, finished 8th. My worst placing right now, as of now, in like the pro circuit, but it's probably the one that I've learned the most, which is kind of cool. So I'm back at the drawing board, and I'm 16 weeks out of the Arnold. If I get my invite, I really hope I do. And yeah, I mean, Rogue was amazing. Yeah. What else? Static events against open weight class women. Not really. I think we're all in our own lanes. So I know where my strengths are, I know where their strengths are. And if we're talking about a static event, like, yeah, we always have a max deadlift. I know I'm not a big puller, but put me a dumbbell and, you know, I know my place there. So I think it's cool because all 10 of us, all 12, whenever, like the top girls, like we all have our strength, all have our weaknesses, and that's what makes it really nice at a show. You can never predict, and that's what's fun. That's what's fun about training. If you don't have a weakness, what are you training? Plans for your 2025 competition and what you have planned for off-season training. Keep building the brand. Thank you. So for 2025, as of now, the first show it would be World's Strongest Man, which would be for Max in May. I'm gonna be waiting for my Arnold invite, which I really hope I do. So that would be in 16 weeks, and then Max would be in May. I'm thinking of doing the 82 kilo Pro Strongman League comp this year, due to it being such a cool federation. I love the people behind the federation, and I want to support them. It's been really tough with our Arnold schedule and whatnot, but so that'll be the start of the year. And things can always change. We have North Americans and the Shaw Classic afterwards, and seasons are long. I don't really like to plan 12 months ahead, mostly 6. So that's kind of what's set up. So Arnold's, World's Strongest Man, and a PSL show. Yeah. Athletes have to hold it by the straight portion of the handle, or could a person have used a corner? From my couch, it seems like it would have kept the weight from pulling away from the shoulder. Was the power drive? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the kettlebell. No, you could grab the kettlebell wherever you want it in your hands. I bought specifically that kettlebell to get used to it, and to have my hand in the corner when it got onto my shoulder was just the best positioning for me, even at lockout, because the kettlebell would be on my side. They weren't really strict on holding that lockout, but as long as you stop, you like fully extend it and you stop your arm from moving for that split second, they were really good on down commands. I just think you really needed a kettlebell to train with, to be better, to be good at it. So you wouldn't yeah, I think that was really important. I think that was something that was just a really good event for me, like as in like implement wise. I got used to it real quick, and yeah. Was the power drive event a bit much, or should that style of medley continue? I loved it. I absolutely loved it, even though I didn't finish it. I think the arm over arm was like drastically heavy. If you think about it, they only added 4 plates to the guys. So I think, and I don't think they changed the hail bales. So, but it was just a very heavy arm over arm. I like moving events like that. Like that hail bale is something I might not ever do again. So for me personally, I'm like, hell yeah, that was so cool. So yeah, I wanted to keep going on. Thanks, guys. Rogue performance. So I just kind of talked about it. Like I'm not happy. I really wish things could have gone better for me, but I don't think it was horrible. Like I still, I showed up, I did my best, and I think I was able to still showcase who I am. I had so much fun, and that's one thing too that was like that was brought up to me is like people saying like how much fun you were having, and like in the moment you don't really think about like have fun. It's like it just comes naturally, and like even though my performance was not showing how much fun I was having, like it wasn't matching, like as long as I was having fun, and yeah, it was cool. What are your expectations, or what are the expectations on World's Strongest Man next year for Max? I hope for podium, and what are weaknesses you're going to attack in your off season? So Max is gonna get a podium again at World's Strongest Man in 2025, and this is on record. So yes, huge statement to do, but I don't think Max knew before he did that podium that he was capable of doing it, and now that he is healthier and stronger than he was at that time, yeah, I think you guys are gonna see a different Wolverine in 2025, and we're all super excited for it. And then our weakness is like we don't have the exact same weakness, but we do. So obviously, like our lower body's got to grow. Our lower body's got to grow, and our upper body's got to stay healthy. So that's definitely what our eyes and training is going to be on for the next few weeks. Deanna, first day, the woman empowering talk was so beautiful. Thank you. Of course. I think women's definitely had a really, really cool time this weekend, breaking barriers in sense of like how much money the women's can now make in our sport. We saw this year with boxing how like they were hitting, a new plateau. Strongman women is hitting a new plateau. Also the fan, like signing autographs and taking pictures. That's not something that we as strong women's like are really used to, or we've had the opportunity to do before. But it's cool to see fans and people really liking and enjoying what we do. So thank you, fans. Thank you, Scotland. And thank you, Rogue Fitness, for bringing these strong women to Rogue Invitational. We are so grateful, and I hope this only grows and gets better from here. So until then, off season begins. A lot of gnarly, long-ass workouts ahead, but it's going to be worth it. So thank you guys for joining today. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more off-season videos.